tax on a new automobile. Anybody here? What about those people who live in rural and remote areas that can't survive with electric vehicles, particularly in rural Canada? Les gens dans les régions n'ont pas le choix d'utiliser une voiture électrique. Ils ont besoin de leur char, de l'essence et de diesel. Et on va protéger ça. On va mettre fin à la guerre à l'auto. You need to have the choice to make your own purchase on what vehicle you want. And so I am announcing today that Conservatives will axe the Carney tax, put you in the driver's seat, let you buy whatever car you want.
Hell yeah! I'm gonna buy 15 Lamborghinis once Pierre gets elected. Y'all better fucking watch it.
And then there's the carbon tax. Now...
Yes! Oh, boo!
The Liberals have put this tax in place over 7 years. The carbon tax law is still in effect to this day. Mark Carney's only
complaint about the taxes. We're gonna get a whole bunch of carbon in that damn Lamborghini too.
He believed that
I'm gonna get my Lamborghini to whole bunch of carbon. I'm gonna make sure that fucking carbon footprint biggest Bigfoot. My carbon footprint is as big as Bigfoot's.
If they get reelected, God forbid, they would bring the tax back higher than ever without a rebate once they no longer need your vote, but still need your money. Just yesterday, Mark Carney was saying a carbon tax on Canadian industrial steel will help the steel industry. This is the same kind of the budget will balance itself thinking that got us into so much trouble with Justin Trudeau. The taxes make you richer, the Liberals say. No, they make liberals rich.
Fucking liberals!
Take our money and push
fucking liberals! Jobs. They care about other people. They care about the fucking health care and the dental care.
For good.
They care about other fucking people. They care about the damn community. They got heart. Sons of bitches.
That will bring down the cost of the steel that goes into cars. We want our steel made in Canada. We want our cars made in Canada. We will, as a result, we will axe the federal sales tax on Canadian-made automobiles. Bring home the production to Canada. We will also... No, he said, Mr. Carney says that Canadians don't need to use steel. This is the great economic genius. I mean, every building would collapse on your head if you didn't have steel. And yet Mark Carney thinks taxing it doesn't affect me. How much would it drive up the cost of an apartment complex if all the steel in it has to pay a Carney carbon tax? The cost of vehicles, the cost of the food is not, what do we need for food? Fertilizer. They want a carbon tax on fertilizer. You tax the fertilizer, you tax the food. Who here thinks food prices need to go up further? No, we need to change. We need to get rid of the entire carbon tax on absolutely everything, and that is what is at stake in this election, but we will not stop there. Our hardworking seniors, many of them have decided that they want to continue contributing in our country and making a valuable change. Who's voting for lower taxes for a change?
Change?
Who's voting
change
for
food
in
and America,
housing you can afford?
If you want change, you're liberal.
Who's voting for safe
Obama had change. Does anybody remember Obama?
Qui va voter pour le changement, mes frères et sœurs canadiens?
Man, pardon my French, but what the fuck was that shit?
Et de logements abordables pour faire changement. Qui va voter pour des rues sécuritaires pour faire changement?
Change right there.
We're voting for change because we love this country and we want every single person to have the promise of Canada that anyone who works hard can have a great life in a beautiful, affordable home on a safe street under our proud flag.
That sounds nice.
We need.
That sounds nice.
That's the hope we offer.
I tried to build a house in Costilla County. I played by the rules. I worked hard. I got fucking fucked.
Honor to be introduced by the great Jesse Sahota, your very own candidate here in Delta. And he is going to be the symbol of the Canadian promise when he's elected on Monday. Let's bring it home with Jesse Sahota.
Yeah, Jesse Sahota!
Jesse is only afraid of two people in the entire world. One, his mother, And 2, our whip, Carrie Lynn Finley. Yeah. She's sitting next to him to make sure he behaves himself.
Yeah.
But I relate a lot
so
to
great
story.
to see so many of you new Democrats here, and I welcome my fellow candidates from across London.
They always raised me to believe that if I worked hard, I could do anything in Canada. I have a great life. In fact, that anybody who got through school and got a job could afford a nice house on a safe street. My wife was able to buy her house in her 20s. That was before me, so I can't take any credit for that. And that wasn't that long ago. It was about 13 years ago. And a lot of neighborhoods around here, people didn't even need to lock their doors not long ago because it was so safe and tranquil and even uneventful. But how things have changed after this lost work. However,
appreciate you so much. Give it up for Sinead!
Fucking liberals.
What an honor to be here. You're amazing. This is the last stretch of this campaign. And so we got to get a couple of things straight. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. I know a lot of people are wondering about strategic voting. I get it. You're worried about Pierre and the Conservatives. We are too. We don't want them in. Here's the good news. Pierre is not winning this thing. He is not winning this election. He's not winning. Let me be real with you. He is not winning. Mark Carney has promised 28 services you need. You think it's the right time to cut health care? No. Wait a second. Is it ever the right time to cut health care?
However, many worry about sliding down the social order. Now, that's a lot of bureaucraties, but let's just translate it into plain language. No matter how hard you work, you can't get ahead and you'll probably fall further behind. Here is already the case and getting worse, but it doesn't have to be this for a Change Act. The Safe Streets for a Change Act announcing that a Conservative government will cut income tax by 15%, so you bring home your paycheck for a change.
No. So if Mark Carney has all the power, liberals are going to do what liberals always do. Ignore people, cut the services you need, and if the Conservatives are the only ones in opposition, then you're going to have the worst of Carney and the worst of Conservatives. So we've got a very important job to let people know. If you believe in defending public, universal health care, if you believe that everybody in this country should have a decent place to live, afford their groceries, then vote NDP. Send New Democrats to Ottawa. And here's the reason why. We've shown you that everything that we're proud of as Canadians, every single thing, when you ask someone, why are you proud to be a Canadian? Why do we never want to be the 51st state? People say, well, because of our health care. That's one of the first things people will say. You know what? If we get sick, we go to the doctor, we go to the hospital, get treated. In the States, you get sick, you go bankrupt. We don't want that here. But how do we get health care? Well, because people like you all voted for New Democrats like Tommy Douglas, and he went to Ottawa and forced the government to bring in universal public health care for all.
We'll bring in tax fairness. Our traveling trades workers are only allowed to write off $4,000 for all their travels in a year. That's not nearly enough, especially when CEOs get to write off an unlimited amount for their private jets. We'll bring in the Tax Fairness for Traveling Trades Workers Act so that you can...
In his thuggish MAGA administration wants to consistently attack black people. They do not care about these thugs.
In fact, pensions, old age security, employment insurance, each one of these things happen when New Democrats have power and force the government to deliver. And most recently, because you gave us the power, because you used your vote and sent Lindsay Matheson and 24 of us to Ottawa, we fought for and expanded health care for the first time in a generation with dental care. Millions of people in our country have been able to see a dentist because you voted for us, because you gave us that power. And you know, it's hard to imagine a million, millions, almost 2 million people have received dental care. It's hard to imagine what that means. So let me tell you a story about a person in particular to let you know what this means to be able to get dental care.
It is our strength that the Americans want. They want our resources. They want our water. They want our land. They want our country. Never. They can't have our country because Canada is not America. America is a melting pot. Canada, look at this crowd. Look at this crowd. We are all Canadians. We are all diverse. We're all distinct. Canada is a mosaic. In America, healthcare is a big business. In Canada, it is a right. Aux États-Unis, on ne reconnaît pas les différences. On ne reconnaît pas les peuples autochtones. Et il n'y aura jamais de droit pour la langue française. Les États-Unis ne sont pas le Canada.
What?
Let me tell you the story of Sue. Sue is a senior. She's living on a fixed income. She's worked her whole life. I met her in Ottawa. She got her dental care card in the mail, and we were asking people if we could hear their feedback. How's it working? She said, you know what? Come with me to the dentist. I was a little nervous. She was a little nervous too, I think, and so we were there together at the dentist's office. And I remember being in the office with her, and she told her story to the dentist and the denturist. And she said, I'm a senior, I'm living on a fixed income, and I'm a cancer survivor. She beat cancer. But in beating cancer, the treatment meant she lost her teeth. And she was in a rough way, and she felt pretty embarrassed by her teeth. She had almost no teeth left. And she had this picture with her that she pulled out. The picture was her with a smile. And she had this beautiful smile. And she said to the dentist and the denturist, I just want my smile back. And the dentist looked at the denturist, and they looked at her, and they said, we're going to get you it back. It's going to be covered with this program. And I was with her when she broke down in tears of joy and said, you're going to give me back my dignity. You're going to give me back my smile. Imagine 2 million people like Sue. That's what we did for Canadians. That's what we delivered for people. When we have power, we use it for people. When we have power, we deliver for people. I'll tell you one more story. There is one of the first meetings I did when I first became leader. It was back when the center block was still open. Now it's shut down for like 15 years. So we're at the center block, and I was a meeting with a young boy, 10-year-old, and his dad. And he came into my office, sat down, we had a chat, and he was telling me about his disease. He's type 1 diabetic. So it means he was born with diabetes. And he was telling me how he's got to do blood tests and injections and watch his blood levels, and if he doesn't, he might die. I'm like, wow, 10-year-old kid, just casually talking about that he might die. I'm like, what's that like for you? He said, oh, I'm fine. I got this. But there's one thing I'm worried about. I'm like, what is it? He said, I'm worried about how much my medication costs my parents. 10-year-old kid was worried about being a burden. I'm like, listen, I'm going to fight like hell. I probably didn't say hell because he's a little kid. I'm going to fight as hard as I can to make sure you don't feel like a burden anymore. And then he left the office, and I thought, I'm going to fight, but I don't know if I can deliver that. It's a huge thing. Promise made, promise delivered. We have 3 provinces. One more time. We have 3 provinces where we have signed an agreement where everyone in BC, Manitoba, and PEI will get free diabetes medication and devices because of New Democrats. Now we know there's a lot more that needs to be done. We know that people need help with their rent, so if you want to see national rent control to protect renters, vote NDP. We know people are hurting with the cost of groceries. So if you want to see a price cap on food essentials to bring down food and take on the corporate grocery store giants,
non faire
vote.
jamais partie, jamais. Canada will never, ever be part of the United States. Jamais. C'est ça. Okay. So we have that sorted out. And the question is, what do we do? Well, in a crisis, the first thing you have to do is to prepare for the worst, not hope for the best. You have to distinguish between what you can change and what you can't. And, you know, after 78 years, I don't think we can change President Trump. So we need a leader. We need a leader who can stand up to him. Say something.
So my friends, we know that Ottawa works best when one party doesn't have all the power. More specifically, Ottawa works best throughout our history, recent and past. Ottawa works best when there are strong New Democrats fighting for everyday people in Ottawa. So don't let people tell you, we gotta shut up and be quiet and sit this one out. We gotta be tall and strong and defiant and let people know that the progressive choice in ridings across this country are New Democrats, not Liberals. It's New Democrats who can be conservatives in so many ridings. So get out there and knock on those doors. Make those phone calls. Find every single vote we can, and let's win in this election for people, for the working class, for the middle class. Use your power and vote with your heart, vote with your values, vote for who you believe in, and you believe that New Democrats are the ones that are going to fight for you and defend what matters most to you and your family. So are you ready to get out there and fight? Are you ready to fight for people? Are you ready to take on the powerful and lift up everyday folks? Let's get out there and do it. Let's do it. Yes. Thank you.
And to replace what the crisis is taking away. That's what our plan for Canada Strong. And Pierre Poilievre, it's been come day after day, has no plan. We know that much of our strength comes from our resolve to work together, to work in unity. And you
emplois juste pour payer le loyer, ça se peut plus. Les gens ne peuvent plus payer. On peut pas payer d'une quatrième
plus payer. Don't you plus payer
pour de loyer, des hypothèques abordables dans des communautés sécuritaires. C'est ça mon but. C'est ça le changement pour lequel les gens doivent voter lundi prochain. My friends, that is the change that we're looking to make so that you can live in a safe neighborhood. But that safe neighborhood means we have to stop the drugs. The drugs which are taking over our communities. Addiction has killed 50,000 people in the last 10 years because of the radical drug liberalization that seeks to subsidize and permit more drugs. Liberals have reduced the jail time for those who deal the drugs, move in those shipping containers. So we have a real conservative plan for change to end this. One, we will secure the borders with high-powered scanners that can look right in through the walls of those shipping containers and every other...
to decide who is Canada's Prime Minister. There are only 2 days left. 2 days left in this campaign. There are only 2 days left in this campaign. It's the equivalent of the last 2 minutes left in the third period of Game 7 in the Stanley Cup. Something Toronto Maple Leafs fans may be about to experience. But it is time to leave everything on the ice. And that means I need you supporters to knock on a few more doors. I need you to make a few more phone calls. I need to talk to friends, to families, to neighbors. And above all, I need you to vote Liberal.
So we can protect